If you truly believe that this world is ruled only by people who have money, then maybe you haven't seen the real game yet. Because if you look at history, many times the richest people have been seen bowing in front of those who did not even have that much money. Why? Because the real control of the world does not come from money. The world is controlled by psychological power, and this is a dangerous truth. Most people spend their entire lives without ever understanding it. They keep chasing money while the real game is being played on a completely different level. Think about this for a moment. If money was everything, then why do some rich people still look insecure when they enter a room? Okay. And why do some people who are not extremely wealthy still manage to change the entire atmosphere just by their presence? Why do some people earn respect without even speaking? And why do some people, no matter how much money they show, are still not taken seriously? This is where the game of psychological power begins. But before understanding that, notice a strange pattern. In school, in college, in offices, the same scene repeats everywhere. There are some people around whom others are naturally drawn. Their opinions are valued. Their voice carries weight. And then there are others who work hard, who even earn good money. Yet, they never receive the respect they expect. Why does this happen? Because the human world does not operate only on the rules of money. It operates on the rules of social psychology. And the person who understands these rules often moves ahead of people who only have money. If this is the first time you are hearing these kinds of truths, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about the psychological games that run society, but that very few people openly discuss. Now, imagine a situation. There is an office. 2 people work there. The first man earns a lot of money. He has a nice car. He wears expensive clothes. He constantly talks about his achievements. The second man is not that rich, but when he walks into the room, people become quiet and listen to him. Nobody interrupts him. His words carry weight. Now, ask yourself a question. Why does this happen? The first man has more money, yet his influence is weaker. The second man has less money, yet his influence is stronger. The difference lies in psychological signals. Humans do not only read words, they read behavior, they read energy. They subconsciously feel how a person sees himself. If someone constantly tries to prove himself, it signals that he is insecure inside, and insecurity weakens social power. On the other hand, when someone does not try to constantly prove himself, he remains calm. He speaks less, but when he speaks, his words carry clarity and stillness. This signals self-trust. Self-trust is one of the most powerful signals in the social hierarchy. Kyun society always operates through a power hierarchy. This hierarchy is never written anywhere. It forms through behavior. Who can remain calm under pressure? Who can make decisions? Who can control emotions? It's a person who becomes strong in these areas slowly begins to rise in the social hierarchy. This is why sometimes a person with less money can still become more influential, because his psychological frame is stronger. Now, understand another truth. Money is often the result of power, but it is not always the cause of power. Many people first develop psychological power, and only later money starts flowing toward them, because people prefer to work with someone they trust, someone who can make decisions, someone who remains stable under pressure. But here is a hidden truth most people never notice. Real power in society is often invisible. The people who constantly try to display their power are often not as powerful as they appear. True power is usually quiet. It does not shout. It does not waste energy proving itself. It simply exists, and people can feel it. So why do most people never reach this level? Because their entire focus remains on external things. They believe that if they have more money, people will automatically respect them. But respect cannot be bought. Respect must be earned, and it is earned through psychological stability. Now, understand some mindset shifts that help develop this power. First shift, reduce the need for validation. Your happiness depends on what people think about you. Then you'll always remain in a weak position, because the person who depends on approval can always be controlled. Second shift, understand the power of silence. Most people reveal everything they think, but influential people often listen more, speak less, and when they do speak, the words carry weight. Third shift, emotional control. In any social situation, the person who can control his emotions naturally rises higher. Anger, nervousness, restlessness. All of these are signals that the person is not internally stable. People subconsciously read these signals. Fourth shift, leave the scarcity mindset. When someone believes opportunities are rare, he becomes desperate for everything. Says when someone believes opportunities can be created, his behavior changes, okay? And that behavior influences others. Fifth shift, define your self-respect boundaries. The person who tries to please everyone slowly loses his influence, but the person who stands by his principles begins to earn real respect. And this is where the story becomes even more interesting. Because when someone develops psychological power, his world starts changing. People begin to treat him differently. More opportunities start appearing in his life. And slowly, he reaches a place where money also begins to flow toward him. But here comes the final question. If psychological power is so important, then why doesn't everyone have it? It's because developing it requires facing your own weaknesses. It requires confronting your insecurities. It requires changing your habits. And the hardest part, it requires thinking differently from the crowd. The crowd always chooses the easy path. The crowd chooses the path of showing off. But the path of real power is often quiet and difficult. And maybe that is why very few people ever walk on it. But the ones who do eventually began to understand how the real game of society works. And once that understanding arrives, right, they stop chasing only money, right? They start building the mental strength that influences people. Because in the end, the world does not belong only to those who have money. The world belongs to those who understand human psychology, those who remain calm under pressure, those who define their own identity, and those who can leave an impact without making noise. Maybe that is why, throughout history, the most influential people were often the ones who had mastered their own minds. And now the question stands in front of you. Which path will you choose? The path of chasing money endlessly, or the path of understanding psychological power that separates a man from the crowd? Because remember this, money can display power, but psychological power creates power. In the moment a person understands this difference, the world never looks the same again. Some people spend their entire lives trying to understand this game, okay? And some suddenly realize one day where real power was hidden all along. Maybe today could be that day for you. And remember one thing, this world always listens to the man who has first learned to listen to himself.